narthex, but you can't go outside. You can hang out in the narthex, and you guys could close those doors, those inner doors, so you can, if you make some, thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I'd like to begin our annual meeting with a prayer. The Lord be with you. O God, our King, by the resurrection of your Son, Jesus Christ, on the first day of the week, you conquered sin, put death to flight, and gave us the hope of everlasting life. Redeem all our days by this victory, forgive our sins, banish our fears, and make us bold to praise you and to do your will, and to steel us to wait for the consummation of your kingdom on that last great day. Through the same Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Right. Well, the way I'd like to begin is reviewing the voting rules for the vestry election. As soon as we're done with that, I'd like to invite a couple people to help me pass out the ballots. Lily, that'd be great, awesome. And Summer Grace, yes, awesome, volunteered. Okay, so these are, and then while you're filling out your ballots, then we'll pause, we'll collect them, we'll count them. But while all that's taking place, we'll have our reports from our officers. So in the Diocese of Virginia Constitution Canons, all adult communicants in good standing registered in the particular church in which they offer to vote shall be entitled to vote at the election of vestry members. The voting shall be by ballot, in person, and unless otherwise provided by the meeting, a majority of the votes cast shall be necessary to a choice. There shall be no voting by proxy. But no election shall be valid unless the participating qualified votes number at least 10% of the number of active communicants qualified to vote reported for the previous year. Interpretation. You must be 16 years of old, confirmed, registered member in good standing. Further interpretation. We ask you to please follow your conscience. Okay, so I'd like to ask our two volunteers to come forward, and I'll hand you. So they're going to pass the baskets just like during the collection. Please only take one ballot per person. One pencil to go along with the ballot is good too. And then hold on to your ballot and we'll collect them in just a few moments. Our annual convention this year was attended by Kelly Carson. Dave Carson was our alternate. He joined us for lunch when it all ended because they. Oh, okay, yes, all right, I'm sorry. Okay, there are every year we have 3 candidates standing for vestry. We could have more, but we have 3. Each class has 3 persons. You may vote for 1 person, 2 persons, or 3 persons. Basically what it comes down to is we had last year 190 registered members. That means we need 19.5 votes for each person. Okay, so if you want to be the half vote, write yourself in as the half vote. No, don't do that because we want to make sure we get enough votes. There's a lot of funniness going on. So there are 3 open spots and we have 3 candidates. It's basically a slam dunk. But we do need, as you heard by the long, lengthy explanation from the Diocese Constitution Canons, actual written ballots. And we need to have at least 19.5 votes per person. So I think we'll probably eclipse that. We will not reveal the total votes that each person receives, but we will give you an idea about how many people voted. Great. So our annual convention was attended by Kelly. Dave was the alternate. They did not permit alternates to go this year, which was just a shame, but he did join us for lunch at the end. The report by Kelly comes from the highlights that the diocese puts out. It lists things like, I'm just gonna give a little summary here today. some information about Bishop Goff's pastoral address, some information about the keynote speaker, the Bishop of Maryland, the resolutions from the convention, as well as the elections to the Standing Committee, General Convention, and those sorts of positions, and other highlights are listed. This will be in the weekly email very soon. Our treasurer is Susan DeFoss, so I invite Susan to come forward and give her report. And right after Susan's report, I'll ask the ushers to come by and pick up those ballots. In fact, if ushers, you want to come back up here, I can give you different plates.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to share. Can you hear me? Everybody hear me? Okay. Very happy to share with you that 2022 was an excellent year financially, thanks in part to the worship and social activities coming back to normal and a continued increase in newcomers. We're healthy. Understand we gained 17 new members in 2022. So our parking and our pews are getting crowded. Looking back at last year's annual meeting, I shared with you that the vestry approved a 2022 operating budget with a deficit of approximately $7,400. The vestry was aware of pending increases to the diocesan pledge, the church pension fund, and the fact that with regular services coming back, we would have increases to fellowship activities, outreach activities, cleaning services, utilities, etc. But on the other hand, the vestry was also aware of steadily growing interest in our church with the increase in newcomers. So the good news to report is that we indeed ended the year with a $5,500 surplus, thanks to all of you all. Income from pledges and the offering plate increased by 14%. So the final results of operation for 2022 is summarized. We had total ordinary income of $250,698.77, less expenses of $245,139.18, with a surplus of $5,559.59. And in addition, there were several donations to the Wishing Well Fund, which is something tracked completely separately, and those are for new or separate repairs or new efforts that we're trying to do for the church, maintenance of the church. And so the donations in 2022 were $38,370.56. And with this, we were able to complete or start the following projects. For the rectory, we rebuilt the rear porch. We renovated the church with the sacristy and the side entrance over here. The church, we bought some sound system audio parts. We put a new light over the front doors. We put in narthex ramp handrails and improvements. We bought lessons and carols costumes. We had parking lot improvements. And then for the rectory, we had Christmas decorations and a computer and a printer. So, looking forward, the vestry has approved the 2023 budget with a deficit of only $300. And we developed the budget we based the 2023 income on the 2022 income that we received last year, and of course, updating known expenses increase. So even though in reality, every year we've been fortunate to see income grow every year, we think using the 2022 income as a basis for 2023 is the conservative approach. We have already noted an 18% increase in pledges against this year, so that's a good sign. And we, of course, will continue to rely on Wishing Well donations for new needs or unexpected repairs. A couple other bits of information. In addition, the vestry noted that we had 2 CDs that were gaining minimal interest income, like less than 1%. And the vestry recently voted to cancel those and purchase new ones that will provide 4%, which is a market increase. We continue to use a local CPA firm to prepare our monthly financial statements to ensure that financial aspects of St. Paul's are well cared for. So in conclusion, we continue to thrive thanks to the parishioners of St. Paul's. And I would like to thank Jackie Clattenburg for helping with many of the day-to-day duties associated with accounting, bill payments, collection drop-offs. Also, thank you to the collection counters they play a very important role in the internal controls employed by the church to ensure good stewardship of our funds. And finally, I would like to acknowledge Chuck Weatherhead because he was the treasurer before me, and I believe he established much of the processes, checks, and balances that we continue to use today. And that is my report. Any questions? No, thank you. All right.
And could I invite Susan and Megan, maybe two vestry members, if the ballots could be brought forward, and if you could count the ballots? The ballot counting sheet is in the sacristy on the counter. Thank you. And while they're counting, I invite Connie Gallant, our junior warden, for her report.
Doing what I do best, talking. What can I say? Well, good morning. Recently, we've spoken about keeping up our spiritual home. And as actually what Susan just told us, this is what we've accomplished in 2022. New handrails were installed in the narthex along with ramp improvements. We now have a nice, pretty light over the front door. Sacristy and side entrance has been redone. And what a beautiful room we have. The Altar Guild is really very happy with that. Bees in our trees? Who remembers that? We were able to relocate 60,000 bees to their new home where they will help pollinate many farmers' fields. And if I remember, didn't they say something about all these bees created almost 500,000 more or something crazy like that? Yeah, so that was nice that they were able to use our trees, right? The back porch of the old rectory was rebuilt with new flooring, railings, and the pretty lattice, and the front porch had lattice work done to keep the critters from living beneath it. The cemetery had turf work done. We were hoping to form a committee to oversee the care of the stones, researching who's who, and recognizing our veterans. If anyone's interested in helping form this committee, let me know. The columbarium was blessed by our bishop on May 8th. It was successfully tested over the winter and passed. One space is being used, and one space is in the columbarium garden. The Holy Quilters of St. Paul's began in September with the idea of raising money for the Wishing Well Fund. A group of very talented ladies gathered, a quilt was made for raffle, and new friendships were made as well. The drawing will be held February 26th after the concert benefiting the Haymarket Food Pantry. A wonderful group of volunteers gathered to help clean up the churchyard. Doesn't it look nice? I think it does too. Thank you, everyone. I would like to add that St. Paul's is a wonderful family, and I'm so glad to be part of that family. And by the way, many of you might have seen the Bull Run Observer that just came out. And so I thought that they did an absolutely fabulous job about our Rousseau family. So thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Our senior warden, Tom Coyle, is traveling. He sent his report. I'll post it. I'll hit a couple highlights. He started out by saying, our stock in trade here at St. Paul's is one of welcoming and one of love. Now that we can actually see one another and converse without the mask, our interactions are so much more enjoyable and thus makes all this easier and more fun. He goes into a paragraph about me. This entire effort is gracefully, wonderfully led by our rector. His Christ-like attitude of acceptance, love, guidance, blah, blah, blah. I'll post this on the weekly email. So I appreciate all of Tom's compliments in this long paragraph about devotion to ministering to our needs, those we touch in the community. LOL, Sean, try not to blush when you read this. This past year, we've seen increases in church membership, thank you, increased outreach and support of our various community causes. Service to others is at the very core of what St. Paul's is. This year, we've experienced an increased number of new church members. Our collective investment in time, talent, and treasure continues its upwards trajectory and thus underscores the timeless theme of service to others. Of note, our church live stream has been a good way to keep connected those who are out of town for the 10:30 a.m. Holy Eucharist and those who cannot attend a baptism, wedding, or funeral. Finally, our weekly fellowship time following the 10:30 service is always a pleasure and really serves as the social glue for so many of our church. Plus, I like it because it seems I meet someone new every single week. I'm sorry I can't be there with my utterly sparkling personality to deliver these words in person, but we return at the end of the week. Peace, Tom Coyle. Thank you, Tom. And so I'd like to say that we have exceeded by at least 3 times the necessary number of votes. Enough votes for Neil Bagnell, Jean Gentry, and Peter Knudsen to be elected to the vestry, so I'd like to congratulate you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to having you on the vestry. Let's see, and last, there's my report. Let's see. So welcome to our 10th annual meeting. Thank you for your prayers and presence here at St. Paul's. Thank you for all the ways you offer your time, talent, and treasure here. You may already be active. You may be considering how to be involved. I'm happy to help you participate in one of our existing ministries, maybe in a new ministry we have yet to begin. Either way, I think we will be stronger as everyone becomes more connected here. First, I'm thankful to Carrie, my wife, and to the kids, all of them, LJ, Aislinn, Summer Grace, Eowyn, for their prayers, their presence here at St. Paul's, all the ways they participate, not to mention all the ways they support me, encourage me, and put up with me. I'm thankful to Dr. Pat Avery for her presence in providing music in so many different situations over so many years through the pandemic. In May of 2022, we saw a transition with our music program when George Fulda became our new Director of Music Ministries. You probably know exactly who George is because you can't miss him up here behind the instruments. We have much to look forward to with the talent and energy of George and the involvement in so many ways of his family, Samantha, Lily, and Alex, who's running the live stream still. I'm thankful to the vestry members and officers for the time they give to St. Paul's. We'll post all of these reports in their full version in the weekly email. I encourage you to read them. It's really enlightening and uplifting to hear about all those positive parts of our life together. They really provide an excellent summary of all the ways we've stayed connected this past year. I'd like to thank our past vestry members who still live in the area and are still active. If you're here, I'd like to ask you to stand as I say your name. Dave and Kelly Carson, Diane Demaray, Allison Eastridge, Campitelli, sorry, I gotta update my stuff. Allison Campitelli, I did that wedding. Samantha and George Fulda, Sandy Hawk, Nelson Kersey, Amanda Maroon, Jean Selig, Judy Shaw, and Jerry Thacker. Thank you. I've got Jackie in another way. So yeah, not a past vestry member. You were a past vestry member. So I'd like to thank our outgoing vestry members, the class of 22. Their term ends today. Tom Coyle, Susan DeFoss, and Jean Gentry. I want to thank our current vestry members. Please stand as I call out your name. Peter Demaray, Dan Tierno, Megan Zioli. They're the class of 2023. Also, Jackie Clattenburg, who is fulfilling a term for someone, Connie Gallant and Marguerite Coker. They're the class of 2024. Thank you. And I look forward to the presence of our new vestry members, Neil Bagnell, not here right now, okay. Jean Gentry, I thought I saw her, yes, and Peter Knudsen over here on the side, okay. I thought I'd mention anyone may attend a vestry meeting. Our next vestry meeting is this coming Sunday, February 12th at 12:30 p.m. in the rectory. At that meeting, there'll be business like usual, but part of the new business will be to determine the vestry officers, the new senior warden, the new junior warden. I also anticipate we'll reappoint some positions. The register, Millie Wesson, she's not here. Co-treasurers, Susan DeFoss and Jackie Clattenburg. Our annual convention delegate and alternate will switch. We'll have Dave and Kelly Carson. Our region delegate and alternate delegate, Valerie Bowman and Buddy Wagner. Our vestry representative as a board member of the Haymarket Food Pantry, Bob Bowman. Our vestry representative as board member of St. Michael's Academy, Samantha Folda. If you're curious, please ask about, we're still looking. It's a challenging position, but could be very rewarding. A vestry representative as board member of Carried to Full Term. The Carried to Full Term moms and babies reside in the Mead House, the Yellow House on the other side of the church office, and their office is upstairs in the rectory. It's a nonprofit which ministers to moms and their babies. Let's see. St. Michael's Academy, they lease the parish hall just across the street. Their lease has been extended to August of 2031. In 2019, they spent $180,000 renovating the building interior in order to remove the trailer that had a handful of their classrooms. Those are the last trailers in the town, and the town wanted them to go. So remember, you can use their parking lot for parking on Sundays and for events here at the church. In August of 2021, St. Michael's Academy and St. Paul's formalized our relationship through a memorandum of understanding. As a result of the MOU, we now sponsor the school for their tax exempt and all of the things they have to be in compliance with the county and the state. We also hold 2 seats on the board of directors, Samantha and me, and we hold chapel services for the students, and the school is working towards accreditation, which is something they never had before. In 2022, we returned to full-time, normal, in-person schedule and attendance. It's been great. We also continue to live stream whatever takes place in the church. As you heard, we continue to upgrade, improve our buildings and property through your generosity with the Wishing Well program. And there's a lot of joy about those projects when they get completed, especially the really big ones. Let's see. This past year, we celebrated our 200th anniversary as the oldest church in Prince William County. Last fall, over the course of 7 weekends, church members read history highlights during the Sunday announcements with accompanying photos in the bulletin. All of that is now in the weekly email and on our website. I thought I'd mention a couple other numbers. We're coming to the end of my report. Our average Sunday attendance has grown from 2012, when we started with 31 people, average Sunday attendance, to 2019, 110 people. 2020, the number was 107. That was just based on the first 10 weeks of 2020. The Episcopal Church wanted just the first 10 weeks before the shutdown. In 2021, we had 108 people, including 67 in-person and 41 online views. I just counted one online view as one person, although it could be from 1 to 4 people, depending on the families in our church. In 2022, the Episcopal Church is not collecting information about online views anymore. Our average Sunday attendance for 2022 was 100. I'm very happy with that. I think it's awesome. At the end of 2022, we had 202 registered members and 157 other souls who call St. Paul's home. I think it's exciting we reached 200 plus registered members when we celebrated our 200th anniversary. Hopefully, many more people will continue to join us in 2023 and the coming years. Just so you know, in Virginia, the normal size for an Episcopal church is between 500 to 800, so we're working on growing still. Yeah, we'll run out of space. We'll have to figure out what to do. It'll be great. So it's nice, slow, gradual growth. It's good. I'll continue my efforts to register church members in 2023. I invite you to become a registered member. On the church directory, which is available in the weekly email, you'll notice an asterisk next to someone's name. That denotes a registered member. So everyone on that list is the 202 registered members and the 157 other souls are on the church directory. But if there's an asterisk, that's my way of reminding myself, knowing that they were registered and I don't have to nag them to register. So if you want to offer it, great. If not, I'll start asking more and more people to register. It's really easy, very little information is involved, but it's really a great thing to do. So I look forward to our continued prayers and presence each week in person, those who are joining us online who hopefully will join us in person too at some point. As we celebrate the liturgy through the year, there are special events, baptisms, confirmations, receptions, weddings, celebrations of life during funerals and memorial services. I just thought I'd mention those people we celebrated in these ways during 2022. And this will be the very end of my report. We celebrated baptism for Jack Diamond, who is the grandson of one of our church members, Emily Maroon, Sabrina Van Buskirk, Eva Shaw, who is with the kids in the back, and Jackson Clark, who is the grandson of a clergy member you've seen recently coming, Judith, to church here. In 2022, we celebrated confirmation during bishop visitation for, please stand up if you're here, Gianna, Lily, Tony Lowry, Josie Peterson and Sophia Peterson, and Daniel Uribe. Awesome. Please be seated. We also celebrated reception during that same bishop visitation in May 8th, 2022 for Tony Eastridge, Campitelli. I just thought I'd change your name. Yeah. All right, Tony Campitelli. I hope he's watching. Or you just have fun with him. Just have fun with him. Tom Coyle, Barbara Kedefek. Please stand. Eileen Luvis, Sam Maroon. Saw some of these people there. Kelly Uribe. Kathy and Peter Vergano, all the way in the back. Awesome, thank you. We also celebrated weddings for a teacher from Carrie's school, Will Schaefer, and his fiancee, Allison Sourbeer. Another couple who just wanted to have a wedding in our church, Kathleen Bennick and James Brandon, and for church members, Cody McCready and Danny Broderick. We held celebrations of life during funeral memorial services for Emmett Van Buskirk, the dad of Cameron, Betty Ratliff, who is a friend of church members, Ernesto Uribe, the son of Kelly and Ernst and brother Daniel, Ken Johannes, the husband of Dale Walden, both Edward and Nancy Caranda, and Chuck Weatherhead, the husband of Bonnie. And in 2022, there are many niches that have been reserved in the columbarium, but for the first time in the columbarium area, we interred cremains for Joseph Montezano, who is the husband of Mary, who comes to the 8:30, in our garden, and for Caroline Stewart, who is the daughter of Barbara and Gary Pentek. Her niche is in the columbarium. So it's my intention to stay at St. Paul's well into the future as rector. It has been over 10 years since I answered the call to serve here in September 2012. I think that's a short time in the life of any church, but especially since we replanted the congregation from scratch that fall. So there you go. I'm not going anywhere. It's great to be here with you. I think we have a bright future together. I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve you as a priest in the Episcopal Church right here at St. Paul's. So thank you. God bless you. Let's go eat. Yeah, why don't we, maybe the parents could catch your kids, just hold them for a minute so everyone who's a little bit older than the kids could go over and get food first. And then the kids could come along after all the